My guest this week is the author of Guerrilla Mindset, a lawyer, a tweeter, and a free speech activist. Mike Cernovich, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave, for having me on.
It's good to have you here. We've done this in 140 characters. I say that to a lot of my guests, but the whole nature of our relationship is 140 characters. And are you going to be able to expand on the 140?
Yeah, I have a podcast too. I can run my mouth, so we'll see who out-talks each other.
All right, there you go. So let's start off, just so for the people that don't know you, tell me a little bit about your history, where you come from, and what got you to write the book, and then we'll dive into that.
Okay, cool. So grew up a small-town kid, flyover state, which everybody hates now because we're all redneck, backwoods, hateful, bigoted people. So I grew up.
Which flyover state was that?
Illinois.
Okay.
So I grew up in the middle of Illinois, nothing but cornfields and soybean farms. And I realized, I don't really like this. I want to do something more with my life. Growing up, I was also kind of a fat kid, got bullied a lot, got picked on. Then I got into martial arts and, started sort of beating up the people who bullied me and created that little conflict cycle. Got that out of my system.
That's the bully dream, right? I guess that's the bullied kid dream, is that you get bullied for a while.
Right.
Well, learn some martial arts, you kick some ass.
Well, I got back at everybody but one guy, but he went to prison before I could get to him. So I was actually home when I was 22, and I saw this guy went into the bathroom, and I was gonna go and just slam his head in. And my friend goes, "What is wrong with you, man? This happened when you were like 13. You're 22 now, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Got that out of my system.
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of people do seem to repeat the things that happened to them when they were 13. Like if you were bullied, they then become the bullies as adults.
Right, and that's probably why I hate bullies so much now. Just, you realize these people are trying to ruin lives, and it's bad vibe. When you're a kid now, I don't really like calling adults being bullied. Okay, you're an adult. You should know how to, or you're being online bullied. Okay, you should learn how to kind of chill out a little bit.
Right.
But I don't like a lot of the online bullying stuff that goes on in terms of, oh, you tweeted something wrong. Let's ruin this guy's life. Let's get him fired from, in many ways, let's get a guy fired over a tweet is probably worse than throwing a kid into a locker room, because that guy has a family, has his livelihood, or what happened with, say, Justine Sacco. You can't find a job, and you're like, whoa, maybe that is even a little bit worse than what happens to kids.
So that's a little bit of a sidebar, but just in her case, you want to just lay that out, because it was really amazing. Nobody really knew who this woman was. She put out one tweet. You can
Justine Sacco is the best example of the outrage culture. She was a nobody, 120 followers, all of her friends, and she tweeted, "Heading to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. Oh wait, I can't, I'm white. LOL," right?
Bad joke.
Yeah.
Just stupid.
Yeah, she was a hipster. She was actually trying to be ironic. And she gets on a plane for Africa. Back then, you didn't have Wi-Fi on the plane to Africa. As she's in the air, and I shouldn't laugh, it's actually a tragic story. They start a hashtag, "Has Justine landed yet?"
Yeah.
Everybody now hates Justine Sacco. She's evil. Nobody said, hey, what'd you mean by this? What's going on?
And to be clear, nobody really knew who this person was.
Right.
So this was just the perfect example of the internet going crazy.
Yeah, she was a nobody. She wasn't a public figure. She didn't work in tech. What happened, probably one of her coworkers saw it and wanted to do a little backstabbing. It was somebody made personal drama, international news. Everybody went after her, and it touches on so many themes where, well, I mean, that's a woman. She was getting rape threats. Are the people, the social justice warriors, the activists, if you're leading a sort of hate mob on a woman who gets rape threats, well, wait, isn't that what you say I do? But I've never done that. I would never do that.
Okay, so let's hold off on some of the social justice stuff first. And by the way, I want to go on the record, I did not jump on that Twitter bandwagon, because I remember thinking, this is crazy. This is just some person who said some stupid thing, so I can't be outraged by somebody I never heard of until I saw this little tweet. But a little bit back to your history, and then we'll jump on some of the other stuff.
Yeah, so then I was deciding on where to go to law school. I looked at a map. I read the data. The data says you're going to live within 50 miles of where I go to law school, statistically speaking. And I go, well, if I go to law school in Illinois, that means my life will be a little strip on Illinois. I said, I'll move to California. Kind of too big of a, language. Too afraid to go live in LA, to go to UCLA. Yeah. So I go, well, I'll go to Pepperdine.
You can use whatever language you want.
I was too big of a pussy to go live in LA. I'm a small town kid. I'm driving on the 10 for the first time. Like, oh shit, how do people drive in this traffic? But I figured, well, I could go to Pepperdine, It's in Malibu, and then I could kind of visit LA as I wanted to. So Malibu has a very small town vibe, best of both worlds.
Yeah, and you're right on the beach. It's pretty sweet operation over there at Pepperdine.
Yeah, but I mean, you know how it is. Wherever you are, you don't appreciate what you have.
Right.
You're like, the first couple of days is magical, majestic.
Yeah.
After that, you're just looking through law books anyway.
Right. Okay. So you became a lawyer.
Right.
But then really what put you into the public space was you wrote your book, The Gorilla Mindset.
Yeah.
And it's very much, I'll let you explain it, but my main takeaway is sort of that you control your destiny is sort of the takeaway that I got. But what made you write it, and do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's you define within certain confines your own reality. You know, you're Dave Rubin, I'm Mike Cernovich. Your life is your life, my life is my life. But we're going to have different experiences in terms of how you live on a day-to-day basis, but we got the same drama. We're pissed off at people. We don't feel like we got recognition. We wonder if we're going to lose our jobs. How am I going to make money doing this? What if I, ask that girl or guy out on a date? What if they think I'm dumb? I'm afraid to go on TV because people think I look stupid. I sound funny. What if I say the wrong thing? We all got the same problems. How am I going to pay my bills? So ultimately, you want to control your thoughts. You want to control your emotions. Learn how to not lose it, essentially. And the reason I wrote it is because I went through a lot of drama, had a lot of, you grew up poor. Now you're in the big city. You got to figure it out. You have, you see this in a lot of writing, actually, where people tend to be ashamed of their upbringing. So instead of saying, hey, I grew up a poor kid in a small town, but hey, here I am now, you want to say, yeah, I hate rednecks, and because you want to get away from that, right? So you kind of overreact. Well, why is that? Well, it's because your mindset, and it's the way you're framing your background. So what we tend to do is we think, well, I grew up this poor, dumb kid. What will I ever do with my life? But you can just say, well, I grew up a poor, dumb kid. I'm here. I made it somehow. I've learned and I've grown. And I start to take these background experiences and create a new future out of those.
Yeah, it's interesting the way we sort of fetishize being the recipient of bullying or being the recipient of sort of anything bad. So I think for me, I was bullied as much as I bullied other kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had some kids that I probably bullied. I don't like the word either. It's so played out. It doesn't even mean anything. But I probably treated some kids pretty shitty, and the kids that were higher on the social thing in high school treated me pretty shitty. And here I am. So big deal. But we have this idea somehow that if you're always on the recipient end of it, that somehow you're better. And that's a really bizarre thing. And I guess that goes to the heart of your book. You have to be the one to say, well, I'm not going to be bullied anymore, right?
Yeah, well, we ultimately define our realities based on other people. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I teach you don't do that. So, for example, shame. We've all been ashamed. Oh, my God, I'm embarrassed. Well, why? Oh, some complete stranger thinks you're an idiot. Right? Well, why are you letting that other person define your own reality? Which is what you do when you let people shame you, attack you, sort of bully you. You're now saying, well, I'm going to let other people control how I feel. And then you start to think, well, why would I let other people control how I feel? How does this make any sense in my life? And then you start to reframe that kind of stuff into a stronger mindset.
Yeah, so that concept is very much in line with the online culture, and I know you're a big part of this because I see you fighting with people online. Right. You're calling people out. People are attacking you. I mean, you're really in it, in the sort of like back and forth piece of it. So I guess the way you deal with that is that you just don't take any of it too personally, right?
You can't take it personally, and you always have to. You always got to take a negative, reframe it as a positive. It sounds cliche, but you could say, "Oh my God, I have all these people saying mean things about me." Or you could just say, wow, this is great. How the hell do these idiots that I've never heard of hear about me? Well, I must be doing something right. I must be making impact. So you can let criticism define you. Madonna said this once, actually. She goes, if I go into a room and there are 100 people and 99 people like me and one person doesn't, that one person who doesn't like me, that's what sticks with me. And we tend to be hardwired as human beings to let criticism bother us, which makes sense because if we're living in a small tribe, 150 people there, if 5 guys don't like you, they might take you out on the hunting trip and kill you, right?
Right.
But we're not in that environment anymore. We're in a big global environment. I've even written about, you just have to niche. If 99% of the world hates me, 1% like me, dude, I would be filthy rich.
Right.
That would be great. I would love to have 99% of the world hate me.
Right. I mean, that's always reminds me of the thing from Howard Stern's book and in the movie when they're talking about the executives are like, the people that like you watch you for 4 minutes,
right,
and the people that hate you listen to you for 3 hours or something.
Well, my haters will dredge up posts that I wrote, maybe when I was in a bad mood or whatever, and I don't even remember this. Like, how do you guys find this stuff? Or they'll like confront me with things. I'm like, wow, you guys are great. You're pulling up these archives that I don't even remember.